Aloha, Sharks fans. Welcome back to Sharks Weekly, your inside look at Hawaii Pacific University athletics, right here on Hawaii Sports Radio Network. We're live from HPU Esports Arena at Aloha Tower Marketplace, powered by DSE Hawaii, and today we're talking acrobatics and tumbling. And I'm going to say this right away, HPU is heading to nationals, not just in one event, but multiple events. Acro, toss, tumbling, and multiple heats. That's depth. That's a team showing up across the board on a national stage. And on top of that, this group is currently ranked 12th in the country. They're going there to compete, and here's the part I love. They're heading back to Azusa Pacific, a team they just beat. So this whole thing feels like a full circle. Joining me today is head coach Daisha Paulino and two athletes who are a big part of why this team is where it is right now. Senior Breanna Corral and junior Keahi Alayvilla. Coach Breanna, Keahi, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Coach, I want to start here. When you saw HPU qualifying for multiple events at nationals, what was your reaction to all of that?
We were lucky to be able to track this for the entire season, so it's actually something we've been preparing for from the very beginning. Just looking ahead at how we want to progress and be successful throughout the year. The mindset coming into the entire season was, hey, like, you need to work through all these events. Like, you're going to show up, you're going to hit everything every single time you compete, because you don't have if you don't have the chance to compete in a tournament, you have the chance to compete for an individual heat. So it's actually something we've been planning and preparing for this entire time. We're just happy that it happened.
Did you know you were going to be taking 13 girls, though?
I hoped I was. So, yeah, I mean, that was the plan. That was the goal this whole year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Especially after last year, right? I think you took maybe four,
we took
four? One? Okay,
yeah,
one.
We had one individual qualifier
So
last
that's a
year.
huge growth.
Mm-hmm.
And that obviously comes from your practices. Can you talk a little bit about how it's not every day is high intense. So can you talk a little bit about how you kind of manage the high intense, the low intense days, and then more so like the mindset that you help with your athletes?
Of course. Acro's hard. It beats the body. So we've been really, really strategic this year with making sure that we are extremely aware of where they're at, how they're feeling. So what we do is we alternate our days. They never tumble more than one day at a time. So they'll never go back-to-back days with that. So we call them like high intensity and low intensity practices, and we just kind of alternate that way. As far as our rep schemes, I think the perfectionist in us, we always want to be able to do more until we hit it perfectly. But the reality of it is sometimes when you do too much, it actually hurts them more than it could help them. So some days we have to like kind of take it where, like, this is where we're at. It's okay, and we're going to try it again the next time. So I think in doing that, we were able to maintain their bodies a lot more, which at the end of the day, like, we were able to compete at the last meet of the season and look better than they did in the first meet of the season.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. And then Bree, going into your senior year, from an athlete's perspective, when you see your team showing up in multiple events like that, what does that feel like to you, especially being a senior, right?
Absolutely. It feels really emotional for sure, because I've been on HPU teams where we've made nationals. You know, my freshman year and sophomore year, we went for heats, but last year not being able to go was definitely a tough thing to see. But taking 13 girls this year is amazing, and they show up and want to work for it in practice, which makes all the difference. So having that mindset that everybody is on the boat and wants the same thing is really important.
And Keahi, same question for you. Especially like seeing you've won some awards this season as well. What does that feel like for you, seeing not just for yourself, but for your teammates?
I feel like it's really different, and it's really cool to be able to see the opportunities that's arising after the really, really the amount of hard work that we put in, and the time we took on foundationals last year. I feel like not going last year was just us building up to how much further we're gonna go here on out.
Yeah. And coach, kind of like almost it should be an undefeated season. Let's talk about that growth from last season to this season, and just like not even the stats we're talking, like your team having that well-rounded and kind of like having every single player is able to step into any position that you put them in. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. As we know, last year was not a great year, but not in the sense that it was just bad. I was hired right at the beginning of the school year. We walked into that first practice, we said, hey, you're here, I'm here, we're going to work with what we have for the year, and we're going to use this as like, yeah, that foundational year. We're going to come back to the basics, we're going to learn, we're going to grow, and we're going to invest in the basics of this program so that the year after, as in this year, we would have an opportunity to succeed. So we kind of used last year as that investment year, and then recruited the kids that we needed to be successful.
And then let's talk about two separate meets. I want to talk about the Oregon meet first. That was the highest you guys scored all season, especially going up a number 2 team. Can you talk a little bit about like how you guys are feeling going into that and kind of the outcome of that?
Yeah. Well, it was a great meet. I think actually all the meets this year were great. I think the team as a whole, like we said, we want to leave everything on the floor, and every meet felt fun because they had fun because it was good. Like they did well. As far as that meet against Oregon, like when you go up against the number 2 team in the nation, like I like to say never. Like you never know what's going to happen. They could have a bad day. We could have a great day. Like outcomes are outcomes. Like HPU has beat Oregon in the past. I was part of that. So I know it can happen. But it was like we have nothing to lose. So at the end of the day, like we might as well go in there, like do everything you possibly can to control the controllables. And knowing that we had event finalists to fight for, it was like we're gonna show up no matter what, no matter who's on the other side. And I think they were really impressive because even though, sure, they're number 2 in the nation, it didn't matter. Like our team was not over there intimidated or fearful.
Yeah.
Like they were out there just minding their own business.
Yeah, and you guys looked like you had fun. It looked like a really good event.
Yeah.
You being from Oregon, how did that feel going up against some of the girls that you recruited, maybe?
Yeah.
Some familiar faces. How did that feel for you?
It was bittersweet for sure. I think I look back at it and I said when they were all warming up, I was like, wow, I had a part in like the recruitment or coaching of every single kid on that floor. So that was a really good feeling to know that like I've impacted that many people as a person. But I just was proud. Like I'm just happy. Like we're here fighting for a sport and we're fighting for recognition, and to see that this many people have opportunities to do that, like it's great.
Speaking of recognition, how do you think your team being ranked 12th right now, and the amount of finalists that you guys have for event finalists, how do you think people could know more about what's going on or like what your team is doing? Because I feel like sometimes you guys don't always get the proper recognition, right?
I think right now I think we're trying to figure it out, to be honest. I think we're more recognized now than we ever have been. As far as like people knowing that we have this sport on our campus, people in the community, things like that. So I think we've grown in the sense of recognition already. But as far as how to get more, like that's a tough question. I always say, I'm like, we need to get out there more. We need to talk to kids in the community. We need to be a part of things. Be more present in university events. Like I think there's a lot of ways that we can definitely bring some more recognition.
Well, especially because like acrobatics and tumbling isn't really a sport in Hawaii, right? You got gymnastics and then cheerleading.
Yep.
So like it's hard for you guys to kind of show, right?
Yeah. So gymnastics, I think gymnastics and cheer, we're bringing in local kids. Like we're recruiting local kids. We have a couple that came in this past year. We have a couple from before that. Same for cheerleading. So I think we're making the proper steps to like make relationships with those outside programs. But yeah, we got to keep building. Yeah.
And then let's talk about the Azusa meet. You guys lost them the first time, but then came back and beat them on their home court. Oh, yeah. How was that feeling? Was there a little bit of like tension between that?
I don't know if I'd call it tension. They might have a different word for it, how they felt. But as far as like, I think they did the best they could have done on our first meet.
Yeah, definitely.
I think a lot of the outcome came to human error, as far as scoring, just certain things like that. Like at the end of the day, like if you were watching that meet, like I think everyone had a very different perspective of who should have won that meet. So I'll leave that as that. But going into their home turf and doing what they did, I think it was a redemption moment. Everyone on our team, our side, we knew that we've trained for this, that we wanted to show the world that we are exactly who we say we are. And they did that.
Yeah.
I would say that I feel like it was more personal than it was tension. I feel like there was something that we talked about at one of the meets, and it was about like winning the inner war, which is something that Coach Daisha talked about. And I feel like for this particular meet, like in California, it was mental, and we worked so hard to work past our mental struggles and like I guess insecurities. So we've learned to move past that and grow in that way. And it was more of like inner and like relationally, like we were able to be there for each other, and it was all about us in that moment. It wasn't about what they did or what anyone else was doing. It was all about us. And also a lot of us are from California, so like our families were there, and it was just a really powerful moment, I feel like, for our whole team.
I bet it was very exciting towards the end to watch. And then Bree and Keahi, going into nationals, does your guys' mindset change, or is it the same? You just talked about Keahi more focused on us, and you guys as a player. So how does your mindset going into nationals?
I feel like it's more, I would say, fun. Like there isn't a pressure to be perfect, but to go out there and do the best that we can, because we know that we've gotten so much better, and to be there for each other. And it shows on the mat that through like our inner growth and the growth with each other, that we can go out there and put out a really, really good skill. And yeah.
What about for you, Bree?
I think in a regular meet season, I have to think a lot about taking things one thing at a time. But for nationals, I'm just going out there and competing one heat. So like you mentioned, it's going to be a lot more fun to just take in all the moments and then enjoy my last time competing as an athlete.
Yeah, that's great. And Coach, what has been like, you talk about your foundation year, and now kind of like where we're at now, what have you seen the most area of growth, I guess, in maybe your athletes, or maybe even in like as a team?
I would say their confidence, as a just not even just as athletes, but as people. I feel like there was all this uncertainty when we walked in last year, as far as like what are we doing here, like what's this gonna look like, and just as they've gotten better, gotten stronger. Like we spent a lot of the preseason talking about like you want to go into a meet and like know you're gonna win, and then reflecting back and knowing that like most of these kids have never actually won an acro meet before. So after going in and winning those first couple meets in our road trip in New York, and be like, all right, we can talk about these things now. Like they understand what it feels like to win. So now they understand what it means when we're talking about pushing for more. So I think, like their perspective, their confidence, like their ability to kind of like take the criticism and be like, okay, like we're trying to get better, because now they have something to work for.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, your mindset that you instill into your athletes is amazing. Like, you watch other sports, and it's like, it's just amazing to watch, like your confidence and your charisma pour into your athletes.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're getting into the work behind those results, because qualifying for that many events doesn't just happen. But first, mahalo to DSE Hawaii.
You're listening to Sharks Weekly on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, streaming on hawaiisportsradio.com.
Welcome back to Sharks Weekly, and we're talking about a team that didn't just qualify for nationals, they showed up everywhere. Bree, you've been part of this program for 4 years now. Can you talk a little bit about your growth as an individual and as a player?
Yeah, for sure. I think the one lesson that I'll take away from being an HPU acrobatics and tumbling athlete is to be adaptable and to be accepting and willing to change for the better, for the most part. I think when I got recruited under Coach Haley, her leaving was a big change, and being able to stick with the program was a big decision to stay here and move my life across the ocean. But with our different head coaching changes and different team dynamics, I think it was so rewarding to come in this year and be the program that I know we're capable of being. So I think just the lesson was to stay consistent, be who you know, like you're capable of being, and stay excited, because great things are going to happen for this program.
I love how energetic you are about all of it. And you're competing in multiple different areas, correct? So how do you balance that, and then like your mindset going into the different events? Does it change?
Definitely. I think my mindset as a top, I feel a lot more stressed, a lot more frantic, because I'm kind of out there. It's a lot of trust. It's a big trust game. But I feel like when I'm out there basing, I have a little bit more control, and I have to instill that trust into my top. So making sure that they feel confident and like they can trust me. So just a little bit of a mindset change, but same confidence.
Love that. And then we talked a little bit during the break about captains. Can we talk a little bit about the leadership that you guys are both upperclassmen now? What that leadership looks like for your guys' team?
I I think Coach describes it really well, that our leadership is a little bit more spread out on this team, but I think Keahi is a really big voice for our underclassmen and for our upperclassmen as well. She just like speaks confidence into us. And another big thing that I kind of introduced to the team this year is affirmations. So before we get on the mat, we tell ourselves like, I got this, I am confident, I am going to hit this. Like regardless if it sounds silly or not, like it will like trick your brain into believing that you really got this, and I think that's really helped.
Definitely not silly. Definitely something that definitely helps, especially female athletes. Me being an athlete, I totally agree with that. And Keahi, coming from cheer and stunt, correct? What's been the biggest adjustment competing at this level for you?
From cheerleading to acro, it's definitely a lot more quiet and controlled, which is something that is very different for me. Obviously cheerleading is really like loud and competitive, and obviously this is very competitive too, but like when we warm up in a warm-up room for cheer, it's so loud. Everyone's music's playing, but in acro it's so much more calm and controlled, but it's also way more technical, so it tests my like my technique as while also pushing me to do things that I never thought I would be able to do on my own. Like cheer is more, especially all-girl cheer is more group oriented, whereas acro is more like we're stacked on top of each other but individually, and that is way more different. That's way different for me, but it's been really cool to see the things that I'm capable of doing and my team is capable of doing, just especially as like women too.
Yes, definitely. You guys are athletes, hands down. And you talked a little bit about how acro is more calm than cheer and stunt. Do you feel like you thrive in that calm environment, or do you miss that chaos sometimes?
I would say no, because I think I still bring it to the floor. I bring it to the floor, and I also bring it on the sideline, which is like one of my favorite things to do, is like hype people up and like be the person to talk and speak. I'm definitely one of the vocal leaders on the team, so no, I don't miss it because I still bring it.
Coach, we need one of those for every team, don't we?
That you need it.
Yeah.
You need it. It's the vocal part, the chaos, like she's talking about, like we talk about like locking in, like, but you need to have fun, because if you're too serious, like this is a sport, it's so calm and so composed, and if you don't bring that like lightheartedness to the sideline, like you will get in your head and you will mess up. So I think what they're saying is like it is necessary to be a little chaotic and fun. Like everyone says, like if you watch HPU on the sideline, like they're dancing, they're singing, they're dancing, they are going, I don't even know what they're doing, but they know their jobs and they know when it's their time to lock in. They step up and they lock in.
So do you have like any pre-game stuff that you have them do, or like, because you guys come on the court and then you warm up, right? But is there anything that you guys do outside, like kind of like maybe that kind of relaxes them, that fun?
Yes and no. Like we have a schedule, it's printed, they know where to do things. I'm the structured one, I'm the calm one, and it's like, all right guys, like you do your thing. Like it's like we have an understanding, like there is a visual walkthrough, there's a moment that's assigned where the team gets 5 minutes on the floor, where they can just kind of mentally prepare themselves. So that's kind of where like they might be like all hype in the locker room, they walk out, they have their calm 5 minutes. We have them like close their eyes and listen to their team event music in the locker room afterwards, and that's like their calm time. And then that's where I step away and I go to a meeting. I'm like, all right, it's all you. And that's where they can kind of get excited, get hyped up, and like do what they have to do for the meet. So there's a balance, and we've like kind of like rehearsed it so they know where the highs are and where the lows are. And yeah, that's it.
Where did you pick up that? Has that something that you've done as an athlete for that visual 5 minutes kind of thing, or is that something that you picked up from other coaches? Because I feel like do you guys usually do that for acro?
Yeah, it's a sign, like it's built in. Not everyone takes that time, but it is built in so that you're allowed to. Just because like the floor, the matting, it's supposed to be all the same, but like for tumblers especially, they start off the mat, so it kind of gives them an opportunity to know exactly where to stand, so that they can like hurdle and flip in the correct spots.
Yeah. And then what about for you two as athletes? Is there anything that like superstitions or like something that you guys do with your team while coach steps away?
Yeah. So something new that we started this year was I would bring like little index cards, and everybody, including our coaches, would write affirmations on it. And then I started taping it to the door, literally the door in the weight room before we walked out. And at the very last meet, which I love that we did this, I just started saying it out loud, and then the team repeated it. I was like, repeat after me, which is very similar to what Bree started, which is affirmations. And it was really, really powerful and really cool. Another thing is, this is something that we started with last year, and I think we've spent very intentional time with each other as human beings, is spending time like at like the hotel or prior to the meet, being intentional with our mental and like spending time. For example, like with FCA, we take time to worship or like really slow our mind down, because it's so fast-paced, quick. We slow our mind down and we talk about the things that we're struggling with and the things that are hard right now, whether it's in life or in acro, or the things that we're nervous for the meet, and then we pray about it and we move on, and we go into the next day, and it's really, really cool to see the growth from that as well.
Very powerful beginning to your guys' meets.
Yeah.
What about you, Bree? Do you have any superstitions? Or you talked about your affirmations, but is there anything like that you have to be, minus your affirmations, that you have to do before maybe eat? Or
I have to have Keahi write my affirmation on me. So she writes it just like right under my Nike Pros, and it just says poderosa, and in Spanish it's just kind of like capable, determined, and that word means a lot to me because one of our teammates, Anina, she had to step away from the team for a little bit, but she's one of the most capable and determined girls I know, and that just like helps me keep her on the mat and keep her with me and keep that strength.
Love that. And then what is your guys' favorite event to compete in? Oh,
This has been a hot take lately. We've been asking this a lot.
We have been talking about it. Mine is definitely pyramids. It's been a goal of mine since I started freshman year to start midding, and this is my first year where I've actually midded, and it's been really, really cool to do pyramids. So pyramids are really fun. You can do so many things with them, and I love it.
so wait, before you pass it to Bree, can you explain to people that might not understand what midding is?
Yeah, so I'll explain Pyramid 3. It's our open pyramid. So at the bottom of the pyramid, there's a bridge. If you don't know what a bridge is, it's like a back bend, or you're bent like this. And then the mid is the person who stands on top of her thighs. And then there's a, we call it
Tosser, glider.
tosser, glider. She glides the girl up, and then me, the mid, holds her up on top of the other girl at the bottom. And yeah, that's the middle of the group.
I love that. What about you, Bree? What is your favorite event to compete in?
I love tumbling event. I get to just turn my brain off and just take 1 million little steps and then do some fun flips.
And you talked about you being very energetic. Who else do you guys feel like on the team is that energy? Oh, Bree's smiling. Is that energy person?
We know who it is.
Giselle.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about Giselle and her growth throughout her season or career at HPU?
Yeah, well, Giselle's obviously, she is a junior. She is a second year on the team. We were lucky enough to get her last year when I was coming in. She's just an all-around athlete, all-around human. She contributes to every single event in some way, shape, or form. Right now, she is an individual tumbler, meaning that she does a pass by herself, similar to what Bree does. But her pass is really unique right now. She does a pass that no one else in the entire sport is competing this year. There's been kids that have done it in the past, but like as of right now this year, she is the only person competing it. And it's a round off. Then she does 4 consecutive flips in a row, and then does a 5th flip where she spins in it. Touches her hands one time in the very beginning. Super impressive. And yeah, so obviously we're pushing for her just like we are for a lot of them. We have a lot of really standout athletes this year, but Giselle just, as you said, like the energy, she has something about her that she just kind of ties the team together.
Yeah, and that video of her kind of went viral. Mm-hmm. It was so cool to watch.
50,000 views on it.
Like that.
It was 6 a.m, and I'm like, I'm just gonna post this. And I was like, oh, here we go.
It was a beautiful video of her. Like you guys
Impressive.
are true athletes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then can we talk a little bit? We talked a little bit in the beginning, but what a typical day. Let's go into a meet, and then what like a typical day of training would look like for you guys.
Meet days depend on the road or not. I think on the road just seems to be like the most common. They are required to obviously wake up and eat breakfast. That's a big one on our itinerary. You must wake up and eat breakfast. Or they can go and walk and get their coffee, things like that. It's pretty chill. Like, we have a pretty low-key day, study hall. They spend a lot of time braiding their hair. So most of the day will be consumed by them just braiding their hair and getting ready for the meet. We get to the meet site like 3 hours in advance though. It's kind of a long day for us. Like, they tape, they do all their pre-med stuff. Like, we are at their Bible study, our team stuff, our visualization. The meet itself, like, if we start at 6 p.m. We actually start our warm-ups almost an hour beforehand.
Right.
So yeah, all the things leading up to it. It's honestly a pretty low-key day though. Like, most meet days, like, we'll get them Olive Garden or something substantial. It just, no matter how close you make that meal time before the meet, they're always so hungry.
You make it sound so nonchalant. Yeah, it's just a meet day.
Yeah,
It's a lot of
it is.
prep and planning, though, on
Yeah.
your guys' part and on the athletes' part, right?
It's all
You're
right.
used to it.
I'm used to
Okay.
it.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're getting into the mental side of competing at nationals. But before we go, mahalo to DSE Hawaii. At DSE Hawaii, formerly D. Suihiro Electric Inc., we are dedicated to consistently providing work in the most efficient manner. With over 3 decades of experience and expertise in electrical industry under our belt, we have worked tirelessly to ensure that our performance represents our company mission, providing customer value. We'll be right back after the break.
You're listening to Sharks Weekly on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, streaming on hawaiisportsradio.com.
All right, we're back with Sharks Weekly right here on Hawaii Sports Radio Network. Coach, let's talk a little bit about next year and what next year. I know we're still in this season, but let's talk a little bit about next year and what next year's recruiting class looks for you.
Mm-hmm.
Could you talk a little bit about the girls that you're bringing in? Maybe some that you're excited about or where they're coming from?
Absolutely. Well, it's never too early, first of all. As a coach, my job is to recruit, and we are looking ahead 1, 2, if not 3 years sometimes. So we always have big plans. As of right now, we have, I think, 5 officially signed, 3 more committed that I'm waiting for. And I'm hoping I saved a couple spaces so we can, fingers crossed, get some transfers as well. So we have 8 right now. The goal is to have 10. It'll be a big team next year. Like, if we should be within the 28 to 30 number, which would be awesome. We have kids all the way from, I have a kid from Louisiana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she'll be fun. Got some California kids as always, mostly California this year. But yeah, we do have someone all the way from Louisiana as well.
Oh, wow. Do you have any local kids coming in next year?
We do. Yeah.
Nice.
A little nugget, her name is Shay. Her older sister Haven is on the team right now.
Okay.
Grew up with them. I was their coach 10 years ago in gymnastics, so I've seen them from the time they were itty bitty, and they just moved back a few years ago. So, it was a very full circle moment to have them come onto this team.
That just speaks to volumes of how much of an impression you make on these young athletes, and then for them to come and play for you at the collegiate level, right? Switching gears, let's talk a little bit about what the NCAA tournament will look like next year. You guys gained sports
Status.
status, right? 93rd sport to receive NCAA. So can you talk a little bit about, because right now it's all D1, D2, and D3, correct? How that will look like next year.
Yeah, so Acro we have a governing body called the NCATA, and they've been the ones kind of controlling everything from our rules and our coaching and our competition format, everything, and the tournament. So what they're going to do next year, just because it's been so established, is the NCAA will come into our tournament this year, kind of see how it goes, and we will be kind of like handing over the reins, so to speak, but the format won't change. There are requirements within Division 1, 2, and 3 as far as how many teams need to be within the division so that they can separate into their own divisional tournament. We aren't there yet. We have enough teams to have a national tournament, but just not split to division, so it'll just be 1, 2, and 3 all combined for the time being until we meet those requirements.
Well, hopefully when we do meet those requirements, we'll bring home a national championship.
That's the plan.
Trophy, right?
Absolutely.
Bree, I know this is your last year, but are you looking at coaching next year? Let's talk a little bit about that.
The dream is definitely to one day start a program, and I think the best person that I'd want to learn from is definitely Coach Daisha. So post-grad, I did get accepted into HPU's MPA program, Masters of Public Administration. So I am thinking that I am going to pursue that and then hopefully tailor up my resume and cover letter, and hopefully we can bring on a second assistant coach for HPU Acro. That would be the dream, but of course it's just a dream right now, but going to work to get there.
We're going to speak it into existence, right?
Yes, my affirmations.
That's what I like to hear.
And Bree, junior year, right? What are you looking forward to next year? Or you talked a little bit about being able to mid this year. What would be the goal for next year?
I feel like I can't wait to be more creative. I feel like these past couple of years we've kind of just had to do the simple things, but I'm excited to like work with our coaches and our teammates to be more creative and do bigger and do more. I have a lot of skills in my pocket, but that's hopefully for next year that I could also put on top of some pyramids. That'd be really cool.
Coach, what would that look, the more of the creativity side look like?
Yeah, great timing, since that's we had some productive play at practice this morning. We've talked about it a lot. Like, the sport itself was created because of hopes and dreams, and I was lucky enough to be a part of that growth where we walked into practice and we were creating skills for fun. And those are the skills that are foundational skills in our sport now. And they got a little taste of that today. So yeah, like, we spent the last couple of years, like, we're doing these things because we want to execute, we want to have these wins. But there is room for growth, and like Keahi has, and even Bree, like, they have had these elite level skills in their pockets. But the team as a whole wasn't where it needed to be to also be up with them in those skills. So obviously you kind of had to meet in the middle and do something that worked for everybody. But the team's catching up. Underclassmen, the recruits, like, everyone is kind of like, we're all kind of getting to this skill set now where we can start pushing the boundaries a little bit more, trying new things in the Acros, the pyramids. Like, so it will be a little more fun and a little more exciting to see.
You guys are already fun and exciting to see
Right.
this year, so I only can imagine next year.
It'll be interesting, and like you said, my brain's never off. We're already thinking about next year, so I already have things in my head. I'm like, all right, I know what we're doing. We're gonna try this. Yeah, it'll be fun.
And what is your biggest goal for next year? Minus the NCAA, bringing home that tournament championship trophy, what would be the biggest goal for you next year and your team?
I think being ranked number 12 is awesome. It's a great step forward from where this program has been the last few years. And to get past that to even being in the top 10, if not the top 8, to get to that tournament would be awesome as far as, like, ranking wise. But it's just, we want to keep being successful.
Yeah.
We have a great team. Like, we have great recruits coming in. So to maintain this culture and the leadership that we have, and just, like, the environment, like, it's so special. Like walking into that meet, or even, like, the locker room or practice, like, it's such a special place to be. So my goal is just to keep fostering that environment for them, and as long as that's there, like, the wins will come.
Yeah. And I guess when the rankings first came out, were you kind of surprised, or you already knew? Because, like, coming from last year and seeing the rankings in the beginning of the season, you guys hadn't even stepped on a mat yet, and you guys were already ranked 13th, right?
It was 13, yeah. I mean, it was awesome. Like, we're like, oh, hey, someone out there has some faith in us, which is really cool. And I mean, I believed it. Like, we brought in 13 newcomers, all with really cool skill sets. Like, so I was like, I think this is a good starting point for sure.
Yeah.
So it was nice to even, like, knowing that we started there and we actually went up. Like, there was growth.
Yeah,
so.
And obviously, like, people are starting to notice you guys, and your name's getting out there, so that's great for you and your program, right?
Absolutely.
You talked about having an overflow of recruits coming in. So how do you kind of decide like what you want for next year?
The goal is always to have a well-rounded class. Sometimes you have classes where it's an excess of tops or an excess of bases, and then you kind of run into this problem where you develop them and say, right now our junior class is all bases, and they're great at it. So when we lose them after next year, like, we're losing all of our main basing, and so we're having to scramble and, like, reteach people and fill in all these spots. So as we recruit bigger classes, the goal is to take a couple of each position. You got some tumblers, you got some bases, you have some tops, and that way there is a little more movement as they graduate out, just development wise. Yeah.
And then this is a question for all of you guys. Big season this year. You guys are still going. What was your proudest moment, whether it was your team or individually, this season? Coach, we'll start with you.
I would say when they finished team event at APU last meet, it was considered a quote-unquote perfect meet for us. There was not a single fall. Nothing big, nothing bobbles. There was no big mistakes at all. Like, it was literally the best case scenario for the team. So knowing that they, like, they do their little dance, they say "Go Sharks" at the end, and like what Coach Payton and I do, I say, "My side hit, did yours?" And she said, "My side hit." I said, "They did it. Like, they did it. They made the meet." And we both got a little choked up because, like, that's what we talk about. Like, there's gonna be falls, there's gonna be mistakes, but like, they did it. So that was a really big moment for us.
Yeah. What about for you, Keahi?
At the last meet, before we went on, Coach Payton told us when you went to the back or when you went to your meeting that whatever you guys do, I want you to come off of the floor, and at the end of the meet, I want you to be proud of every single thing that you put out there. And we could all 100% say that between the skills, between the way that we treated each other, between our confidence, between the coaching, like, with every single thing that we did and put out on the floor and on the side, we were all proud of. And we could look back on the season and be like, wow, like, every single moment led up to this, led up to just feeling so much more confident and like a family. And that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
I think also I'm going to third on the APU meet. I think it was definitely the locker room moment, though, and just really witnessing the culture change and how positive our environment has become and what we've built over the last 3-4 years. So to see that was so special, and then to hit a whole meet and just go out with a bang was amazing.
Yeah, it's been amazing watching you guys this season, by the way. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're talking about what's ahead, but before we go, mahalo to Pepsi. Pepsi creates more smiles with every sip and every bite. We'll be right back after the break.
You're listening to Sharks Weekly on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, streaming on hawaiisportsradio.com.
Wrapping things up here on Sharks Weekly with HPU acrobatics and tumbling. So let's get a little bit into like the fun side of you guys are always competing, and it's always like right when you're in competition. But let's talk about the road trips. How was that going all the way to New York? Coach, we'll start with you. And kind of like, one, the time difference, two, the weather, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was that experience going out there?
Exhausting. No, I mean, I'm just joking. I love you guys so much. It's fun. I mean, road trips are always special. Like, we always say, like, the teams are kind of built on the road. Like, you don't really get that kind of time anywhere else. Like, so to be with the team for that many days, like, you really get to know each other. And I think that's where we saw the most cohesion. Yeah, we went all the way to Pennsylvania first. That was an interesting experience. It's like one tiny little town with one lane in the middle. They were throwing cow manure over there on the the day of the meet, like the hour before, cow manure everywhere. It smelled. New York was great, though. We made that drive. We were in Long Island. It did snow a little bit. That was exciting. We did warn. We have a lot of California kids said, "Hey, it's going to be cold. Bring some jackets." They weren't ready for how cold it was. Aside from that, though, I thought it was pretty fun. I liked the cold. I was looking forward to it. Time difference wasn't too bad. We had a lot of downtime. It was spring break, so if anything, like, wish we could have done more, like, that kind of stuff. Like, I know there's so much we could have done. But at the end of the day, I know they were so tired from the first meet. And then it was cold and rainy the next day, our one day off. So I was like, I think it's best to rest. So unfortunately, we didn't do as much as we wish we could have done as far as like being tourist. But they did get the job done. So there's no complaints from me.
You like the cold?
I do.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Bree, was that your first time seeing snow?
Luckily, I'm from Northern California, so no. Sometimes we would drive up to Tahoe and see the snow. That was the experience. But I liked seeing the snow. It was really cool. I don't think I'm cut out for the cold, though.
What about you, Keahi? How was those road trips for you? Kind of like more of the team bonding side. You guys, like Coach said, you have a lot of downtime. So what did you guys find yourself filling that downtime with?
It was really fun. I feel like we're forced in a way because we're literally like living with each other for how many days was it? Like 7 to 10 days. So we spend a lot of time together, and I mean, we have no choice but to be ourselves as well. So it's so funny. We do things that are unexpected. I feel like we're a very silly group of girls. So it was just a lot of laughs. I spent a lot of time with Sage. She's my roommate, and we also roomed together on the trip, and we had some of the best laughs. And I feel like it gives opportunity for us to connect so much deeper as well. Like, we talk so much more too. And for me, one of my favorite memories was definitely the night that we did do the worship night in our hotel, and the girls were just so vulnerable and real. And I feel like it's hard in our sport sometimes to be real and vulnerable because you want to always be perfect. I mean, we're literally scored out of a 10, and we're scored based off of what we mess up on rather than what we do good on. So it's really, really cool to see girls or us, like women who have struggled with this probably our whole lives, coming from cheer, gymnastics, be real and vulnerable and open up and still work together and grow together and pray for each other. And that was really, really cool for me. So yeah.
What do you see yourself doing after acrobatics and tumbling?
So my major is social work. Grew up kind of struggling a little bit, and I don't know, I've always wanted to help people. I knew that, but that's like the basics. Like when people ask, like, why do you want to do social work? We're not allowed to, they train us to not say to help people. So we have to actually have an answer. I want to work in the jail system. I know that. But first I want to start out with kids. I love working with kids. And I want to be able to use my social work major to also do ministry and use it together. So
I asked that because you're so personable and you're so you can relate. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Bree, what was your favorite memory throughout your whole time span of being a shark?
Oh, that's a lot.
Well, okay, let's start with this year, and then you can think about.
Okay, this year was definitely the APU meet. Just like the whole thing, everything about it was so special. I think my favorite memory overall would be my first time ever competing comp acro, my sophomore year, because that's when it kind of clicked in my brain that I think I can do this and I think I can make an impact on this team. So that's when I kind of I feel like I gained my confidence and became more of a leader on the team. So
Love that. Coach, you were smiling a little bit when the girls were saying that they're a silly team. Can you elaborate a little bit on how silly they can be? I'm sure it's a joy to you.
Oh, it's great. I'm a very serious person. I'm a very composed person. I don't show much on my face, especially obviously game day especially. They force joy out of me, so to speak. They're just they're good humans, right? They're good humans. They're happy people, and just being around them, you just can't help but be happy. There's not a time in a practice where I get to be mad or frustrated or annoyed with what's going on. One, I don't believe in that. But two, just being around them, they're you look over and someone's doing something. I look over and Sage is on the ground doing the worm. And then I look over the other way and Giselle's dancing to some music, and then someone's jumping on the other person, and I have little Allie on the other side forcing me to give her a high five. It's just constant. It's just constant joy, truly.
Never a dull moment, huh?
No.
But I will say this, you guys are always pleasurable to watch, and you guys always have the biggest smiles and always happy. You guys always seem like you're happy to be here. So I'm sure it comes a lot from you too, even though you say you're serious. Yeah, okay.
Look at they're making faces at me.
How old is Zen?
4.
Zen is 4, her son, and she always says, "You remind me of my 4-year-old son." It's such a common sentence that comes out of her mouth, and we love it. We're like, we love Zen too.
You guys get along so well.
We love Zen too. He's great.
He's a cool kid.
Yes. And then one more question. One word to describe this team this year.
This might have been my word at the beginning of the year, and I think I'm going to stick with it. It's the word becoming.
Mm-hmm.
That was the word I chose just to even define my own year last year, and I'm kind of just, again, stuck with that through life. Is becoming is it can mean everything. It's like, I'm becoming this person, I'm becoming this athlete, we're becoming this team. But I think this team was like the definition of the word becoming this year. Like the doors were open, and there were no limits, and they have chosen to like become this version of themselves that, like, I mean, we all believed in it, but like they had to believe in it too, and they chose to do that. So
Yeah. What about for you two, Keahi and Bree?
I think I'd go with my favorite affirmation word, even though it's in Spanish, but poderosa, just because it's just determined, willing, and capable. And like Coach mentioned, like, we had a vision and we went for it. So
Yeah.
I would say resilient. Obviously, we've kind of been through it, but this year we've shown how resilient we are and how much we can bounce back and go from 15th to 12th, or go from losing to winning. So we're resilient.
And this is for all of you guys. What should fans expect at nationals from you guys?
I feel like intensity and just like fun and joy from us, at least. We always love to bring the light to the games and to the meet. So I think light and intensity.
What about for you, Bree?
I think she said it perfectly. Just see us ready to execute every single one of those heats and put out the best performance that we can.
Yeah. And Coach?
yeah. Well, obviously we're not in the actual tournament. That's
Right.
top 8. So we did make those event finals. And yeah, like they said, like, it's a pretty cool experience where you have the top 5 heats from every single, like, a top 5 groups from every single heat. Like, it's a lot of teams, it's a lot of bodies. Everyone's on the floor, like, squished together. It's just a crazy environment to be in, and it's loud. But yeah, one thing HPU is really good at is making friends, being supportive, and just being the people that everyone wants to root for. So they have a lot of people out there that I know of, not just from HPU, but from all over the sport, that are rooting for them right now. So I think they're just going to show up and they're going to do it.
And I know, Bree, you're talking about how you made a friend in the bathroom at APU. That must have been a fun experience.
It was a really fun experience. I think HPU Acrobatics and Tumbling is now sister teams with APU Water Polo. I'm not really too sure how it came about, but we're a pretty friendly team, so we made some chatter.
I love that. And then, being senior, do you have any last words or shout outs, I guess, to your teammates, coaches, anything that you would like to leave with this team?
Honestly, just remember what winning feels like and remember the hard moments, but where it led you. So just stay hungry, and I'm excited to be the crazy alum that's painted with my base blue at the national tournament next year when you guys are ranked top 8. So.
You gotta wear the Sharks onesie too.
Blow up shark, that's
Yeah,
gonna be me.
yeah.
I'll be there.
There
She's
you
been
go.
talking about this blue face a few times, so I know she's not kidding.
I'm not playing. Maybe a mohawk
Just
too.
do your whole
Just a blue suit.
no body paint all over, and then
I think I'm gonna scare them a little bit.
Keahi, I know you're not a senior, but do you have any last words for the season or?
We made these bracelets when we were in New York, and something I put on my bracelet is I believe, and you could finish like whatever you wanted with that, but I would say to continue to believe, and the things that you're capable of doing can go so far and beyond anything that you could ever imagine. Just keep believing.
I love that. And Coach, you?
I feel like that's a pretty good way to end it, is we say it every time at the end of practice: I believe in me, I believe in you, I believe in us. Because first you got to believe in yourself before you can believe in others, and if you believe in others, then we can believe in the team. So yeah, it's just, we're going to keep going on, and we're going to keep believing in each other, believe in the process, believe in the vision. And if we keep believing in this vision, and everyone buys in, recruits, newcomers, current athletes, like we're going to keep doing it. Yeah.
And what is the best way for anyone that's interested in the program, a recruit, a potential student athlete, to get in touch with you, I guess?
One, follow us on Instagram, HPU Acro Tumbling, and in that, there's a link in our bio to our recruit questionnaire. That recruit questionnaire asks for your name, your email, all the things, your phone number, and it goes directly to my inbox. So I'm able to reach out directly to recruits once I get that questionnaire, and it's a lot more helpful when I have it because it gives me all the information I need.
Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. It's always a pleasure having you guys on, especially Coach. That's it for Sharks Weekly. Huge mahalo to Coach Daisha Paulino, Corral, and Keahi Alayvilla for joining us. HPU acrobatics and tumbling ranked 12th in the country, heading to nationals and competing across multiple events. You've been listening to Sharks Weekly live from HPU Esports Arena at Aloha Tower Marketplace, powered by DSE Hawaii.